Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is day 3 of the October Leetcode Daily Challenge, and apparently I have some weird thing going on. Love command. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Sorry, I had a little bit technical difficulty. Yeah, let me know what you think about today's problem. And apparently we get another easy problem today. 1512, number of good pairs. So given an array of integers nums, return the number of good pairs. What is a good pair? I don't know if num is equal to j, num is equal to j, num sub I is equal to num sub j, and I is less than j, and yeah, and n is 100, which is kind of a little bit weird. Or not weird, but just like it makes it easier because then now you could do n square, and n square, for I, for j, and da da da, you're done, right? What we want to do for this one for today is if you haven't done it already, or if you've done it but haven't done it in the quote unquote the good way, is try to upsolve this in linear time, linear space, and I will do this. Yeah, and I'm going to pause for 2 seconds so you can have a chance to pause this and maybe attempt to do this in linear time. I mean, maybe it's a way to upsolve the problem, but also it's a very common thing that Leetcode has been asking lately. I'm not sure about interviews, to be honest, but it is a very specific thing that Leetcode has been doing. So definitely, yeah, this is your chance to pause this video and then try to do it in linear time, linear space. All right. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, and this one, it's probably nowadays a little bit of a easier medium, in the sense that, like what we're about to do will actually be part of a more difficult problem. Like you need to do this as part of like a 3-step program or something like this, right? So definitely it's a good idea to both do it good, do it well, and do it fast, right? In terms of just like being able to crank it out, maybe not super fast, deliberately fast, right? Fast in a way such that you're still able to get it correct. But like I said, this pattern is going to come up a lot, so or at least on Leetcode. So the idea here, and I'm going to just see if I can do this, right? And then maybe like a p pairs is 0. And the idea here is dynamic programming. But and the way that dynamic programming is structured is actually, if you want to use plain English to kind of explain this, is just okay. And this is kind of something that we talked about. I think. Let's take a look. Sorry, hang on. Oops. Because I think we talked about this either last week. I guess it doesn't show up last week. No. I think we did it last week on some of the daily problems, and some of it we also did on either Q2 or Q3 or something like this on one of the contests over the weekend. But the idea here is just that, let's say you're trying to do this in better than n squared time. That means that on average, you have n elements, and you have to look at every element, just because otherwise, you have to look at it. That's the lower bound, because you have to look at each element to see, what's up, because every element has a, without any structuring or ordered structure, has an ability to change the answer. So you have to look at every element, right? And here, and I think there are a couple of ways you can attack this and think about it or visualize it. The way that I think about it is then, okay, can I figure out the contribution to the answer one element at a time, right? And I think the problem I read over the weekend, or maybe a couple of days before that, is that, okay, well then how do you phrase this, right? Well, for each number, the way that I would say it is using this terminology that we're given here, is that for each number, what happens when this x is num sub j, right? Well, with this num sub j, then we just try to find out the number of num sub I to the left of it, and that's really all that there is, right? So then now, that means that pairs, well, we have x, how many num sub I are there? Well, if we keep track of it, then it's just C of x, because that's the number of num sub I. And then now to kind of go forward, we go C of x, we increment by 1. And that's all you need. And oops. And yeah. Oops. cannot type today. And all this does is it sets up so that now it sets up the num sub j for future, num sub I for future num sub j to match. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And you probably see this in like a lot of places, right? Nowadays on Leetcode, like I said. But I think one of the things that I worry about with respect to just as an educator, or trying to be as an educator, I don't know, people may slide comments sometimes, and a lot of it is justifiable because I don't think I cater too much to everybody per se. But what I mean to say is that you look at this code and it's like 6 lines of code, and sometimes it's way easier to convince yourself that you understood what is going on because the code is so quote unquote simple. But once you kind of able to really dig deep and understand this on an actual level, then now you can kind of change this up to generalize it for other problems that are similar, right? Because you can kind of think about, like, here we said the number of good pairs, but as we said, if you generalize it, it's just the number of contribution to the answer that each number has by looking to the left of that number, right? So there are a lot of things to play around here. I mean, this is a very long-winded way to kind of just go over this problem, but it is otherwise a very basic problem. So you shouldn't struggle with the n-squared solution at all. I don't even know. I mean, the n-squared solution is just a waste of time, waste of a day. So I hope that you at least upsolve it with linear time or n log n if you want to. And there is an n log n way of doing this as well. And that, I mean, obviously you can always mix things slower, so that's not an issue. But a different way to do it with n log n is still kind of the same idea, but with sorting, right? If you sort, then you can kind of figure it out. I'm gonna not figure it out for you. You could try to do that as a practice without kind of like the structure here. And with sorting, assuming that you did it in place, we're not gonna get into that. You only require all of one extra space. So maybe that's a thing that you can do. And then the other thing, I guess, is that there's also like a counting sort thing, because I don't know, you can also abuse that, but I'm not gonna get into it. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for this one. That's all I have for today. Hope y'all have a great rest of the week. Yeah, stay good, stay healthy, to good mental health. I'll see y'all later and take care. Bye bye. Boop.